Hello and welcome to week 3 of the Irish Times Digital Challenge. This week we're at a point where each of the startups has been pitching to senior management at the Irish Times, and today they've just been meeting with Julian Douglas of entertainment.ie, mainly to take a look at the revenue models. They have to very clearly define what the revenue proposition is and how that can work for the Irish Times Group. GetBulb, that's Oliver Mooney's company, has a great solution for producing graphics very quickly. It's going to be something that every newspaper around the world will want and will need. It will save them literally weeks of effort a year. This week, I think Oliver has a big challenge in trying to figure out how it works for the Irish Times with the online team specifically.
The print guys need to have a very reliable process that at the moment they have to check every chart by hand because they're using a tool that isn't really designed to do very heavy data work. So our tool is designed to do that. They can rely on it, they can put the data in and get it out very quickly. For the online guys, they're a different situation. They have to get an interesting way of presenting data in an interactive way that works on modern devices like iPads as well as your standard desktop computers. So our software does that. But there's a lot more, if you're an online developer, you'll know this, there's a lot more testing, a lot more integration work, a lot more validation that has to be done.
Betting story required a little bit of
really interesting to see how the editorial content's put together for the paper, just seeing how the different editors, features editors and sub-editors and the main editor interact in terms of what they need for each story. It gives me real insight into how something I'm building can fit into that process and how I can kind of help out, create these kind of assets for them.
One of the things the Irish Times has to be able to do is build communities of people who are really interested in amateur sports. Rob has managed to do that in a way that we haven't necessarily done internally. His problem, though, is not how to make his community viable, it's how to make it financially sustainable. So today he's meeting Julian Douglas of entertainment.ie and he's meeting our commercial team for a bit of guidance on what revenue models he should be looking at.
I had a great meeting with Julian Douglas today from entertainment.ie. He's a very interesting guy. He's very interested in my idea. Obviously, he's worked hard at developing websites for a long time, by the sound of things for close to 17 years. He really likes the idea. He sees the value in it. He sees the loyalty and the kind of the deep kind of community that we're going to build. So he's excited by that. He thinks big companies will be excited by that. So he gave me some good ideas around the idea of how to pitch to them. Pitched to the management team this morning when we got in, and it was a little bit of pressure, a bit of nerves with that, I have to say, because you know how important that is in terms of getting them on board, and I think it went okay. My week now is about finalising the whole roadshow idea and looking to see can we get some brand partners. So hopefully I'll be meeting some people this week and seeing if they'll buy into what we have. So it'll be about getting a financial model for that, pitching it to them, seeing what they think of it, and maybe this time next week I'll be very rich. Probably not though.
What Paul from Picture doesn't yet realise is that everyone in the building who he's met so far really likes what he's doing. He is very anxious to get the yes, to get the official proceed, and he's frustrated. There's a lot of anger, a lot of angst. And actually what's happening is a lot of people really like his product. He just needs to be able to sit down with them and gradually ease them into the idea of how the revenue proposition is going to work.
I think they've engaged, but it's hard to judge because it feels like we're past that, yeah, this is a great idea, we'd like to do it, and we seem to be in a commercial negotiation. So that's interesting as well, because the rules of engagement on that are wide open. What we would like to know is, for each column inch, for example, that column inch, how much does it cost to produce a column inch? So for us to understand that would be quite helpful. We would like either the commitment to move forward with our project or a clear decision, as in, no, we're not interested in that.
But we need you to okay it, and we haven't gotten that yet. So if you want, we're here for another 5 weeks. We need a decision as soon as possible that you want to actually do this, and we will do it for you.
I'm very anxious that this happen because I don't want to waste our time or the Irish Times time anymore. So we need to know today that our project's going to happen, or otherwise we'll have to re-examine why we're here. Tune in next week, yeah.
One of the most important things for any newspaper anywhere in the world over the next 2 to 3 years is going to be solving the related links problem. And Martin at Storyflow has the beginnings of a wonderful solution, a graphical representation of related stories. However, he has not yet nailed the problem of how to make his widget compelling. He has to figure out a way to make people click. Right now this week he's in Estonia working on new designs, and maybe when he comes back he'll have solved the problem of the decade. We wait and see. I think Frida from MyFly is an example of what we really like to see. It's a very simple solution, very simple proposition. And I think, although it's way too early to say who is going to win at the end, very much too early, I think if she were to win, DFJ Esprit, the venture capital firm behind the prize, would probably be quite comfortable with the idea that she could scale her business quite dramatically.
The good news from inside in the Irish Times is that we're working already, or starting to work with a particular a major client in the retail area from the advertising point of view, and they seem to be very interested in the proposals. Most of my focus last week was really on meeting with people who are potential customers in most cases, or other good contacts who could possibly lead me to other contacts. The meeting this morning then was to all the key heads, you know, all the major stakeholders in the business. All right, Frida Mackin, my iFly. I'm showing you just to give you an idea of what you can actually deliver. That's not actually running properly. You know, things don't always go to plan, and you just have to roll with it. You know, the main thing about those is that you know you have the right people in the room, and you just have to get your message across. So I don't think you can get too upset or too worried about, you know, technology failing.
So this week, each of the startups presented to senior management, and we can see in those pitches how they've progressed since they came into the building and pitched initially. They're more focused, although it's still evolving, on the revenue proposition, and they have a better sense of how they fit in with the organisation. From the Irish Times perspective, certainly from mine, we can see that a number of those startups have offerings that could be applicable to newspapers far beyond Ireland.